What if the thing holding someone back wasn't laziness, lack of talent, or bad timing, but the fear of starting something that couldn't be finished? The cursor blinked on the screen. Once. Twice. Again. Ethan Cole leaned forward, elbows digging into the edge of the table, jaw tight. His coffee sat untouched beside him, already cold. His phone buzzed. A reminder. Then another. Each vibration felt like a quiet accusation. He opened his task list and immediately regretted it. It stretched endlessly downward. Business plan. Website copy. Homepage layout. Branding. Outreach emails. Market research. Numbers. Strategy. Execution. 70 hours of work stared back at him. He snapped the laptop shut. Tomorrow, he said out loud. Tomorrow had been coming for 3 months. Ethan wasn't lazy, and that was the part that hurt most. He woke up early. Watched videos. Read articles. Took notes. Highlighted ideas. He could explain his business clearly, confidently, almost convincingly. Anyone listening would think he was already halfway there. But when it was time to actually begin, something tightened in his chest. Once he started, he couldn't hide anymore. Once he started, failure would be real. Once he started, excuses would disappear. So he stayed still. Every morning began with energy, by afternoon. The weight returned, by night. Guilt took over. He lay on the couch scrolling, watching strangers announce launches, wins, screenshots of numbers climbing upward. Good for them, he whispered, though his stomach twisted. One evening, his uncle Daniel stopped by. Daniel wasn't loud or flashy. No dramatic success stories. Just steady. Calm. Decades of experience worn lightly. They sat across from each other at the kitchen table. So, Daniel said casually, how's the idea going? Ethan forced a smile. Good. Still planning. Daniel nodded. You've been planning for a while. Ethan sighed. There's just so much to do. Every time I open the list, my mind freezes. Daniel leaned back, studying him. Tell me everything. Ethan did. The words spilled out fast. Tasks piled on top of tasks, each one heavier than the last. When he finished, the room went quiet. Daniel tapped the table once. You're not overwhelmed by work. Ethan frowned. Then what am I overwhelmed by? You're overwhelmed by starting something you can't control. The words hit harder than expected. You're standing at the bottom of a mountain, Daniel continued. Staring at the peak, convincing yourself you need everything figured out before you take the first step. That's easy for you to say, Ethan shot back. Daniel smiled slightly. That's what I used to tell my mentor. So what? Ethan said, crossing his arms. I just need more discipline? No, Daniel replied. You need a smaller promise. Ethan scoffed. What does that even mean? 10 minutes. Ethan laughed. 10 minutes won't change anything. Daniel met his eyes. Neither has doing nothing. Silence filled the room. Set a timer, Daniel said. Work on one tiny piece. Stop when it ends. No pressure to finish. No pressure to continue. And that's it. Ethan asked. That's how you start, Daniel replied. Momentum handles the rest. That night, Ethan sat alone again. Same table. Same laptop. Same blinking cursor. 10 minutes felt stupid. 10 minutes felt pointless. 10 minutes felt safe. He set the timer. His fingers hovered. His thoughts raced. This won't work. You'll quit again. You're just pretending. He typed one sentence. Deleted it. Typed again. Adjusted it. The timer rang. He stared at the screen. And kept going. Ideas connected. The fog thinned. His shoulders relaxed without him noticing. When he finally leaned back, 42 minutes had passed. He laughed quietly. Not from excitement. From disbelief. "I moved," he whispered. The next morning, he didn't feel inspired. He still felt uncertain. But he set the timer again. 10 minutes on the homepage, 10 minutes outlining the offer, 10 minutes drafting ideas. Some days he stopped when the timer rang. Some days he didn't. Either way, progress appeared where paralysis used to live. The list began to shrink. Slowly. Visibly. And something inside him shifted. A week passed. Then two. One afternoon, he caught himself opening his laptop without hesitation. He froze. Since when did this feel normal? The fear hadn't vanished. It had stepped aside. 10 minutes became a rule he trusted. Not motivation. Not confidence. Just action. One night, his phone buzzed. "Daniel. Still working in 10-minute promises?" Ethan smiled. "It's stupid how well this works." Daniel replied, "Starting is expensive. Continuing is cheap." Weeks later, Ethan leaned back and stared at his screen. A real website stared back. Not perfect. Finished enough. 3 months earlier, he couldn't even begin. Now he was shipping. No announcement. No applause. Just progress. And something deeper changed. He stopped waiting for confidence. He stopped negotiating with motivation. He started first. Months later, when new challenges appeared, the same rule returned. 10 minutes. Then another. Then momentum. If you're watching this and there's something you've been avoiding, a project, a decision, a step you keep postponing, hear this clearly. You're not lazy. Your brain isn't broken, you're just staring at the entire mountain instead of the next step. You don't need more willpower. You need a smaller promise. 10 minutes. Before this video ends, choose one thing you've been avoiding. Make it small. Make it specific. Set a timer. Start. And if this story helped you see procrastination differently, support the channel by liking the video, subscribing for more powerful stories like this, and commenting below with the one thing you're starting today. Because momentum doesn't come from waiting. It comes from beginning.